Hi, and welcome to a brief training video on the recycling efforts at the Krasl Art Fair. My name is J.B. Hoyt. I'm part of the Sustainable Business Forum here in town, and we were the ones who brought recycling to the art fair in 2017. In 2017, we actually collected about just under 500 pounds of recycled materials, which is pretty cool because that stuff otherwise would have gone to a landfill. When you think about recycling, there's really three reasons that you want to do it. The obvious one is, hey, it's the right thing for the environment. But there's also an economic piece because it saves money. Recycling is a way of being done, something that can be done very inexpensively. The third piece is more of a social piece. It's about leaving the planet a little better than we found it, and for future generations. So recycling has a lot of aspects to it. We talk about what do we recycle? There are really four major categories. And those categories we'll be talking about them a couple times during this video are plastic bottles, metal cans, aluminum cans, cardboard, paper, and glass. In 2018, our collections went up to about 750 pounds of material, or a 50% increase. Turns out that's pretty typical for events like this, to have a lot of growth in the second year and continued growth beyond that, which we do expect in these coming years. When we started recycling here at the art fair, we were the first large community event in the Benton Harbor St. Joe area to do recycling, and that's really a plus for the Krasl and the art fair. Well, the really cool thing to me is that several other groups have approached us to do their own event recycling, and several organizations, including the City of St. Joe, are now doing recycling as a result of some of our efforts. All of us as volunteers will be involved in the recycling effort. The obvious ones are operations. If you're involved in operations, you're going to be setting up recycling bins, you're going to be emptying recycling bins, you're going to be collecting them at the end of the art fair. In setting up bins, they need to be dispersed rather evenly across the bluff. The concept is a recycling bin needs to be with a trash barrel, because a person walking up will generally want to do the right thing and put that item in a trash bin. If it's a paper plate or if it's a bottle, put it in the recycling bin. But if you're standing here at the Krasl and somebody says the recycling bin is down by the stairs to the beach, they're not going to walk down there to get rid of that bottle. So you want to make it convenient. Now, we have many more trash bins than we do recycling bins at the art fair. So they need to be dispersed rather evenly across the bluff. There's actually a map that your operations leaders have that will tell you all about those locations. We'll also be putting recycling bins in the food court area and in the beer and wine garden area. When you place the bins out, it's really a good idea to leave a couple of extra clear plastic bags in the bottom of the recycling bin. Why? A couple of reasons. One, when you come back and empty that bin, you'll have a clear bag right there ready to go, rather than having to try and find one. And secondly, if some of our more disadvantaged citizens are collecting recyclable bottles and cans for their own economic benefit, they'll want a bag to put those in. It's cool with us if they take that material, but they're going to want a bag. They'll otherwise dump all the rest of the recycling out and take our plastic bags. If there's a spare in the bottom, they'll just use that. By the way, I didn't say clear plastic bags. All recycling must be in a clear bag. The reason being that the companies who do the recycling effort want to look at a bag and make sure that it's not full of dirty dinner plates or, heaven forbid, a couple of dirty diapers. As a result, clear bags, let them look in and say, yep, this is good stuff. Otherwise, if it's a dark bag, they will just immediately landfill it, and then we've lost the benefit of recycling. At the end of the art fair, you'll be collecting the bins and the recycling materials and bringing them all back to the appointed station here at the Krasl location. Now, those of you who are involved in merchandising and or water sales will also be involved in recycling, but you'll be generating more material than you will be taking from others. But as you unpack materials, you'll have primarily cardboard. Those boxes are all recyclable. Please break them down so they lie flat. And yes, you'll have to take the lid off of a recycling container to put it in there, but that way it'll go into the recycling stream with all the other materials. Another big area of production for recycling is the beer and wine garden. In the beer and wine garden, we'll have glass bottles for wine, we'll have the cups from the beer service, we'll have bottles from water and pop sales, and we'll have the cups that the beer itself are served in. So all of those are recycling materials. As you get those, make sure they go to a recycling bin, and as you see patrons who have a plastic cup in their hand, they're looking for what to do with it, let them know those are recyclable, they can put those in the bins as well. Now the rest of us as volunteers aren't directly involved, but we need to be familiar with recycling because guests will be asking, well, where do I put this? Or you'll see somebody wandering around with an empty bottle in their hands and you point them to the nearest recycling bin. It's also an opportunity to chat people up and let them know that recycling is part of the art fair. In fact, the first year we did recycling, I was really amazed at the reaction we got because the visitors and the artists alike really thought the recycling was a great addition to the art fair. The artists actually told me that not every art fair does this, and that sort of further elevated us on that list of exclusive art fairs around the country. Let's talk a little bit more about the waste stream again. The four major categories again are plastic bottles, aluminum cans, glass bottles, cardboard and paper. All those things can go in. Some people like to be opportunistic recyclers. Oh, I've got a piece of styrofoam or a piece of wood. That must be recyclable. I'll just toss that in. They technically might be recyclable, but they're very costly to recycle. They're difficult to recycle, and there's no ready market for that material. So it just actually contaminates a bag of otherwise recyclable materials. So please stay to those four major materials. Anything else, unfortunately, does have to go in the regular garbage stream. Beyond that, you should be good to go. The only other issue to be concerned about is contamination. Again, generally people will do the right thing and put the right material in the right bin. But if you see a bag that's got half a dozen dirty plates in it, or heaven forbid one of those dirty diapers, just put that in the trash stream. But otherwise, the goal is to have those materials in the recycling bins, largely the recyclable materials, and we're good to go. So that's it, simple summary. If you have any questions, a volunteer leader should have the answers for you, and if not, I'll be somewhere around the art fair too. Thanks.